Thank you for joining us today. We will be starting the reading here in just a few minutes at 2 o'clock, so hang tight. All right, I got 2 o'clock. I'm Matt Holzer with OAK on behalf of our team and Forest Hills Public Schools in Powell-Pinkster. We appreciate you joining us. We are here going to be opening up bids for Forest Hills Eastern Athletics. Just a quick note that we are going to postpone reading the roofing bid category. We've only got one bid there, so we're going to hold off on that. You'll hear confirmation on when we're going to be reading those bids. So with that, we do have a couple project alternates. I believe the post bids are going to be via Zoom, and that schedule should have been sent out prior. So Jane will be reaching out to schedule those. You'll either get a phone call or an email with that. So without further ado, I will start with bid category 1, earthwork. First bidder, Conan, with a base bid of $2,203,840. The addendas have been acknowledged. No pricing for alternate number 1. Alternate number 2 is an add of $1,100. No pricing for alternate number 3. They have endorsed the schedule. Next bidder is Dean Landscaping and Excavation, base bid $1,435,540. They've acknowledged the addenda. Project alternate 1, not applicable. Project alternate number 2 is a delete of $1,400. And alternate number 3, not applicable. They do have a voluntary alternate, and it looks like schedule is to be discussed. I'm gonna go back here. Yeah, the project alternate for comment was read correctly. Next bidder, Epic Excavating, base bid $1,791,839. The addendums have been acknowledged. No pricing for alternate 1, no pricing for alternate number 2, no pricing for alternate number 3. They have endorsed the schedule with a note. Next bidder, Hedeberg Verhey, base bid $1,838,000. They've acknowledged the addendum. Alternate number 1, no pricing. Alternate number 2, an add of $1,000. Alternate number 3, no pricing. And they've endorsed the schedule with a note. Next bidder, Kentwood Excavating, base bid $2,019,665. They've acknowledged the addendum. Alternate number 1, no pricing. Alternate number 2, no pricing. Nothing for alternate number 3. They do have clarifications, and they've endorsed the schedule. Next bid category, number 2, synthetic turf. We got Field Turf USA at a base bid of $1,577,870. They've acknowledged one addendum. No pricing for alternate number 1, no pricing for alternate number 2, and they have endorsed the schedule. Next bidder is A-Turf, base bid $1,565,000. They have acknowledged the addendum. Alternate number 1, no pricing. Alternate number 2 is a delete of $2,600. Alternate number 3, no pricing. And they have acknowledged his schedule with some notes. Next bidder, S&H Trucking and Excavating, base bid $1,445,000. They've acknowledged the addendum. Alternate number 1, no pricing. Alternate number 2 is a deduct of $7,500. Alternate number 3, no pricing. They have some voluntary alternates, and they have endorsed the schedule. Next bidder, Caterburg Verhaeghe, base bid $1,498,000. They've acknowledged the addendum. Alternate number 1, no pricing. Alternate number 2 is a deduct of $2,630. Alternate number 3, no pricing, and they have acknowledged the schedule with a note on the turf install. Next bidder, AstroTurf Great Lakes, base bid $1,583,584. They've acknowledged the addenda. Alternate number 1, no pricing. Alternate number 2, a deduct of $10,989. They've got a voluntary alternate. The schedule has been noted for modification. Next bid category, 3, landscaping. First bidder, landscape design services. Base bid $229,845. It acknowledged the addendum. Alternate number 1, no pricing. Alternate number 2 is an add of $350. Alternate number 3, no pricing. There is a qualification, and the schedule has been endorsed. Next bidder, Caterburg Verhaeghe, base bid of $132,000. They've acknowledged the addendum. Alternate number 1, no pricing. Alternate number 2 is an add of $600. They've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder is Twin Lakes Nursery, base bid $151,930. They've acknowledged the addenda. Alternate number 1 is an add of $500. Alternate number 2, no pricing, and they've endorsed the schedule. Next bid category, 4, irrigation. Rapids Irrigation for a base bid of $58,154. They've acknowledged the addenda. No pricing for alternate number 1, no pricing for alternate number 2, and they've endorsed the schedule. Next bid category, number 5, fencing. First bidder, Fence Consultants of West Michigan. Base bid $226,726. They've acknowledged the addenda. No pricing for the alternates. They've got a clarification, and they've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder, Straight Line Fence, base bid $197,486. They've acknowledged the addenda. No pricing for project alternates. They've endorsed the schedule. Next bid category, 6, concrete. Cannon Concrete Construction with a base bid of $788,000. They've acknowledged the addenda. No pricing for alternate number 1. Alternate number 2 is $9,400. $9,400 is a deletion, and they have endorsed the schedule. Next bidder, Proline Concrete for a base bid of $563,520. They've acknowledged the addenda. Alternate number 1, no pricing. Alternate number 2 is a deduction of $13,860. Alternate number 3, no pricing. There is a voluntary alternate, and they have endorsed the schedule. Next bidder is Shepherd's Concrete Construction, base bid $638,600. They've acknowledged the addenda. Alternate number one, no pricing. Alternate number two, is a deduct of $15,000. Alternate number three, no pricing, and they've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder, Kent Companies, base bid is $685,000. They've acknowledged the addenda. No pricing for the project alternates. They've got some voluntary alternates, and they have endorsed the schedule. Next bidder, Van Lawn Concrete, for a base bid of $471,450. They've acknowledged the addenda. No pricing for the project alternates, and they've endorsed the schedule. Next bid category, number 7, masonry, first bidder, integrated exteriors, for a base bid of $433,225. They've acknowledged the addenda. No project alternate pricing. They've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder is JK Masonry, for a base bid of $393,135. They have acknowledged the addenda. No project alternates, and they've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder is Brigade Masonry, for a base bid of $389,569. They've acknowledged the addenda. No project alternates, and they've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder, Complete Enclosures, for a base bid of $417,400. They've acknowledged the addenda. No project alternate, and they've endorsed the schedule. Next bid category, 8, metals, first bidder, Rail Components, for a base bid of $114,984. They've acknowledged the addenda. Alternate number 1 is an add of $1,060. No pricing for project alternate number 2. They've got some voluntary alternates. They've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder, FCC, for a base bid of $142,250. They've acknowledged the addenda. Alternate number 1 is an add of $860. No pricing for alternate number 2. They've endorsed the schedule. Bennett Steel, base bid $86,960. They've acknowledged the addenda. Alternate number 1 is an add of $860. No pricing for alternate number 2. They have noted a voluntary alternate, and they've endorsed the schedule. Next bid category, number 9, general trades. First bidder, JKB Construction, for a base bid of $993,000. They've acknowledged the addenda. Alternate number 1 is an add of $5,455. Alternate number 2 is a deduct of $52,700. Nothing for alternate 3. They've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder, Vandercote Construction, base bid $757,000. They've acknowledged the addenda. Alternate number 1 is an add of $6,400. Alternate number 2 is a deduct of $18,000. They've got some voluntary alternates and qualifications. They've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder is Triangle Constructors, base bid $793,973. They acknowledged the addenda. Alternate number 1 is an add of $6,800. Alternate number 2 is a deduct of $29,745. They've acknowledged the schedule. Next bidder is Nugent Builders, base bid $725,300. They've acknowledged the addenda. Alternate number 1 is an add of $5,864. Alternate number 2 is a deduct of $34,816. They also have a voluntary alternate, and they've endorsed the schedule. Next bid category, 11, painting. First bidder is Galveston Painting, for a base bid of $11,133. They've acknowledged the addenda. No project ultimate pricing. They've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder, Halligan Painting, for a base bid of $18,770. They've acknowledged the addenda. No project alternates. They've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder, Vork Brothers, for a base bid of $10,990. They've acknowledged the addenda. No project alternates. They've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder, Eckhoff and DeVries, for a base bid of $11,160. They've acknowledged the addenda. No project alternates. And they've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder, H&H Painting, base bid $17,832. They've acknowledged the addenda. No project alternates. They do have voluntary alternates, and they've endorsed the schedule. Next bid category, number 12, mechanical plumbing. First bidder, Mall City Mechanical. Base bid $184,935. They've acknowledged the addenda. No project alternates, and they've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder is Northwest Kent Mechanical, base bid $182,900. They've acknowledged the addenda, no project alternates, and they've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder, Advantage Mechanical Refrigeration, base bid $181,240. They've acknowledged the addenda, no project alternates, and they've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder, I'm assuming this is Alternative Mechanical. They listed us as the bidder. Base bid $155,600. They've acknowledged the addenda. No project alternates. They do have qualifications. They've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder, DHE Plumbing, for a base bid of $174,400. They've acknowledged the addenda. No project alternates. They've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder, A&B Mechanical Contractors, base bid $175,600. They've acknowledged the addenda. No project alternates. They've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder, All Out Plumbing and Mechanical, base bid $141,592. They've acknowledged the addenda. No project alternates. They've endorsed the schedule. Next bid category, 13, electrical. First bidder, Allied Electric, base bid $992,500. They've acknowledged the addenda. Project alternates 1 and 2, no pricing. Project alternate number 3 is a deduct of $20,000. They've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder, Hoekstra Electric, base bid $998,000. They've acknowledged the addenda. Alternate number 1 and 2, no pricing. Alternate number 3 is a deduct of $40,000. They've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder is Hillard Electric, base bid $983,000. They've acknowledged the addenda. Project alternates 1 and 2, no pricing. Alternate number 3 is a deduct of $77,500. They've got a voluntary alternate. They've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder, Circuit Electric, for a base bid of $997,600. They've acknowledged the addenda. Project alternates 1 and 2, no pricing. Project alternate number 3 is a deduct of $58,000. They've got some voluntary alternates, and they've endorsed the schedule. Next bid category, number 14, bleachers. First bidder, GT Grandstands, for a base bid of $594,110. They've acknowledged the addenda. No project alternates. They've got some, no pricing for project alternates. They've got some voluntary alternates. They've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder is E&D Specialty Stands, base bid $588,050. Acknowledge the addendas. No project alternates. They've endorsed the schedule. Next bidder is Southern Bleacher Company for a base bid of $414,490. They've acknowledged the addenda. no project alternates, and they've endorsed the schedule. I believe that is it. So thank you all that are still sticking with us. Again, we will reach back out on the post-bid addendum for reading the roofing bid category, and we will try to get our bid tab out here as soon as possible. And for those that gave us your time, we appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one.